over Christmas, at night, while almost nobody was paying attention, there was a mysterious rocket launch from the launch pad area near the sanctuary, and honestly, I don't know how more people aren't talking about this. It's pretty crazy. We're gonna cover everything you need to know. Make sure you drop a like and subscribe to the channel if you're new. We would really appreciate having you in the family, and let's get into it. So, you guys may have noticed right away early on when this season started, there of course is this area near the sanctuary with 7 different launch pads, which of course we can attribute to being 1 for each of the 7. At the beginning of this chapter, the scientist asked loopers to help destroy the signal jammers at the rocket launch pad near the sanctuary. The reason that he asked this is because it would help aid them in getting wartime essentials that they have left in outer space. Throughout the beginning of the season and the chapter, you really didn't notice anything going on over there, but recently, very randomly and just kind of a spur of the moment thing, one of the hatches opened up and a rocket came out just completely out of the blue. It stayed there for a day or two and then suddenly in the middle of the night took off into space, and we are just left to wonder what is going on with that rocket. There's almost certainly going to be some sort of giant live event either in the middle of or at the end of this season revolving around this POI. It's very interesting for many reasons. It's also got the visitor sitting right there as an NPC, so, you know, it makes a ton of sense with the visitor being the one who orchestrated the first rocket launch way back in Chapter 1. As we know, the island is flipped and the IO are on the other side, the 7 are on this side, and they have their outpost set up here, and they're just constantly trying to figure out a way to attack one another. The IO are apparently going to be drilling up through the map. Of course, we know the middle of the map has a sort of industrial interior. It's got all these different levels and paths, and basically is a little hideout headquarters. So the rocket going to retrieve some of these wartime essentials is probably shedding light on a big event coming up revolving this POI in the Imagined Order later on in this season. At least that would be my professional guess. Going back to that digging up through the middle of the map point I made earlier, that seems to be what's going to happen based on leaks. We know there are going to be drill holes that start appearing on the map, and you know, just thinking about it out loud, if the IO and Dr. Sloan and all those guys actually come through the middle of the map, that would mean there's a direct path to get back to the other side and to get back to Apollo. I wonder if even for a brief moment, players might be able to go through that hole, go through the way the IO came in. Effectively, these two maps are connected. Even if we don't get to play on the Chapter 2 island ever again, we know the Chapter 2 island still exists below the one that we're on. A lot of the times when you'll have changes like this to the map, they'll be really small and insignificant, but it was surprising for me that they would just so suddenly out of the blue have this rocket from the sanctuary, which is a massive POI right now in relation to the story in the 7, just go unannounced. You know, that's something a lot of people would have wanted to see maybe, but there is really good hope and optimism that there's going to be an event ultimately because of what's just started with the rocket launch, and there will probably be 6 more rockets that come out of each of these individual launch pad holes in the ground and go off as well. You know, it's just extremely interesting to think about all the different possibilities and all the outcomes that you can have in the storyline, and of course everything seems to be connected in one way or another, so really trying to wrap your head around this is much more difficult than it might have been to wrap your head around something, say, in Chapter 1, like the original The End event. I remember making theories and videos about that in the time, but boy, it was so much less complicated to try and come up with a theory, because now you've got 3 different chapters, you know, multiple different individuals from all these chapters, and yet it's all connected in some way. So it's really cool to try and decipher it. Speaking of trying to decipher it, how about this theory from Timson Road on Reddit? Theory about the rocket. So somebody posted on a comment that they think the rocket will bring us old weapons and such alike. The Zapatron? The guided missile? You save the world weapons? I'm totally with this theory. What are your theories, people? I think it's totally possible that we could get the rocket bring back something like that. Maybe some new weapons, some old weapons. That's totally plausible. They're going to get wartime essentials that they really need in their battle against the Imagined Order. Who knows what that could actually be? It could be weapons, it could be vehicles, it could be other members of the Seven, maybe the Origin. We really have no way of knowing right now what the rocket is doing, but it is very possible that we could get some different sort of guns come back. Unlikely the guided missile would come back though, simply because those files have been pretty much eliminated from the game entirely. Just want to give you guys a quick heads up that I am indeed posting additional content over on Facebook Gaming. If you haven't given it a shot and followed the page, make sure to check out the link in the description and do so for additional content coming your way almost every day. Back in the day, if I typed in the word theory onto Fortnite's subreddit, I would get just endless posts and just countless theories. There's really only a couple about this rocket event and the Seven relating to it, which is a little bit shocking, and that's why I say it definitely, no pun intended, flew under the radar. Not a lot of people are talking about it. Obviously, you might know some people who know about it, but it really is something that not a lot of people are thinking about, and to me, that is definitely really strange, especially considering Donald Mustard even went to the comment section of a fellow creator and just went, shh, just said be quiet, you know, like just keep sleeping on us, I guess. But apparently this is a pretty big deal, especially for Donald Mustard, and if it's a pretty big deal for him, it's a big deal for me. So we'll of course keep a close eye on everything going on out there at the rocket site near the sanctuary and keep you guys fully updated moving forward. What I would love to do though is ask you guys to drop your theories, questions, comments, and concerns in the comment section down below. I do read every single comment, and I would love to feature some of you guys in an upcoming video talking about what's going to happen in Fortnite, because, you know, this is pretty exciting stuff. I gotta say, I like how they're handling the start of this chapter with the storyline and keeping things interesting. And, you know, like I've said all along, this does remind me kind of the vibes Fortnite gave off in Chapter 1. So, ultimately, very excited about things moving forward with this game. So, I hope you guys all had a wonderful Christmas, whether you celebrate or not. Hope you guys continue to have a wonderful holiday season and a happy new year.